Chapter 4: The Procurement Process. In this chapter, we're going to describe the major organizational levels associated with the procurement process. And we also discuss the four basic categories of metadata that are utilized during the procurement process. And we explain some key concepts associated with the procurement process. In the chapter 1, we already presented a simple procurement process. And here we can see here is the basic procurement process diagram. This diagram indicates that the initial step in this process is to create a requisition, which is then converted into a purchase order and sent to a vendor. When the vendor receives the purchase order, it ships the materials which the ordering party receives in a receipt material step. And the ordering party also receives an invoice from the vendor, and it then makes a payment to the vendor. And the next concept is about the organizational data. The procurement process is executed in the context of specific organizational levels. So the organizational levels relevant to the procurement process include the client, company code or CC, and plant. Most of the activities in the procurement process occur within a company. So in the context of procurement, a plant is the location where the materials are received. We refer to it as a receiving plant and a manufacturing plant where the goods are actually produced. So three additional organizational data are relevant to purchasing, storage locations, and purchasing organization, and the purchasing group. So we consider them in the next step. About the plant, some people say the storage locations. Storage locations are places within a plant where materials are kept until they are needed. A plant can have multiple storage locations, each of which is designated for different purposes. The stores specific types of materials. For example, they store the semi-finished goods. Almost a specific storage location include the shelves, bins, cabinets, or trays. And location range from small bins to the entire buildings, depending on the size of the materials being stored. For example, the storage location for nuts and bolts will be a small container, where the storage location for an aircraft will be a hangar. Organization with sophisticated inventory management systems can manage their materials on a more detailed level. So we address these systems on inventory and warehouse management. A plant must have at least one storage location if it needs to track the quantity and value of materials in its inventory. For example, a plant that serves as a production or storage facility must maintain accurate records of the quantity and the value of raw materials, semi-finished goods, finished goods. The plant cannot perform this function without storage location. However, this function is not necessary. For example, an enterprise does not typically track the quantity or value of suppliers is purchased for corporate office or plant. Therefore, a storage location is not essential. Although one plant can have multiple storage locations, its storage location can belong to only one plant. So this figure shows the storage location for the five GBI plants. We can see over here the Dallas plant has four storage locations, and it stores raw materials. The stores are RMOO and semi-finished goods, SFOO and finished goods, and etc. The Miami and San Diego plants, which are distribution centers, they both have three storage locations to store finished goods, trading goods, miscellaneous materials. The structure of the storage locations in Germany is similar to that in the US company. And the manufacturing facility in Heidelberg has a structure similar to in the Dallas. So although the labels of the storage location are the same in different plants, for example, location for the FGOO exists in all five plants. So they are distinct in the organizational levels. The combination of plant and storage location must be unique. Therefore, the Dallas plant could not have another storage location with a label called FGOO. So it's common to use the same labels across the plants and the company costs if they represent the same type of storage, such as raw materials and finished materials. Purchasing organization is a unit within the enterprise that performs strategic activities related to purchasing for one or more plants. It evaluates and identifies vendors, and it negotiates contracts and agreements, pricing, etc. An enterprise may have one or more purchasing organization. There are three models of purchasing organization: enterprise level, company level, and plant level. These models range from highly centralized to highly decentralized. And then we will discuss in the next part about the enterprise level purchasing organization. They also known as the cross company code purchasing organization is the most centralized level model. There is only one purchasing organization for the overall enterprise and all of the plans within the enterprise. This figure shows the GBI organizational structure using the enterprise level model. So there is only one corporate purchasing organization. We call it the GLOO, and it handles the purchasing for all five plants in both company costs in the US and Germany. In this model, the purchasing organization is assigned to each plant, but not to the company code. The next one is the company level purchasing organization. With the company level purchasing organization, also known as the cross plant model, and it's a single purchasing organization is responsible for multiple plants in one company code. This figure shows a model for GPI. In this figure, there are two purchasing organizations. We can see here the USOO and the DEOO. The USOO is responsible for all of the three US plants, and the DEOO is responsible for two Germany plants. So this approach is less centralized than the enterprise level model. In this model, the purchasing organization is assigned to both the plants and the company code. However, a purchasing organization can be assigned only to one company code. For the plant level purchasing organization, this is the most decentralized model, and also known as the plant specific purchasing organization, in which each plant has its own purchasing organization. So in the case of cross-plant model, in this scenario, the purchasing organization is assigned to both plant and its company code. For the reference purchasing organization, each purchasing organization model has its advantages and disadvantages. A highly decentralized model enables an enterprise to negotiate favorable agreements because it purchases material in the large volumes. However, the enterprise may not be able to take advantage of the local practices and relationship which it is not familiar. It may not be able to react quickly to the changes in the local conditions. However, with the highly decentralized model is preferred when the vendors serve a local geographic areas and knowledge of the local practices and conditions enable to the enterprise to make more favorable agreements. Enterprises frequently adopt a hybrid model that consists of one centralized purchasing organization that can evaluate the needs and opportunities for the entire enterprise and negotiate for global contracts. With purchasing organizations then used across the enterprise. Such a purchasing organization is called a reference purchasing organization. Purchasing group is an individual or group of individuals who are responsible for purchasing activities for materials or a group of materials. These activities including planning, creating purchase requisitions, requesting quotations from the vendors, and create and monitoring purchase orders. A purchase order is a formal communication to a vendor that represents a commitment to purchase indicated materials under the stated terms. The purchasing group also serves as a main point of contact with vendors. A purchasing group is not always an entity within the company. Some businesses outsource the group's activities. For example, a case in which a company needs to acquire land or building, the company most likely will return to the realtor to find the property that's best suited for their needs. So in this case, the realtor serves as a purchasing group, and many companies use the services of buyer agents to find suitable vendors and buy materials from them. Because these agents are more familiar with the vendors. There are four master data types that are relevant to the purchasing process: the material master, vendor master, purchasing info records, and the conditions. All the four types are integrated in various combinations throughout the procurement process. For the material master, the data needed to execute the transactions related to materials, especially in the financial accounting data. That includes valuation currency and valuation cash and the price control. Valuation currencies is the currency that materials will be priced in, such as US dollars or euros. The valuation class identifies the general ledger's accounts associated with the materials, and the general ledger accounts are used to maintain the value of the inventory in stock and are updated as the materials are purchased, sold, or used in the production. The price control identifies the method that is used to the value of the materials. And the two options for the price control are moving average price and the standard price. Both options define the price per unit of material in stock, such as helmets. In the moving average price option, the total value of materials is divided by quantity in stock to determine the average price per unit. A firm has 1,000 helmets in stock and they cost 34,000 USD to purchase. Then the moving price is 34 USD, and 34 USD divided 1,000 divided to 1,000. So this price is called the moving price because it is updated each time a process step affects the price, and it represents the average price of the material in stock. If the enterprise purchases an addition 100 helmets for 3,500 USD, then the new moving price increased slightly to 34.5 USD. In contrast, the standard price is constant for a specified period of time, even when the event occurs and causes the value of the material to change. The next one is the vendor master. The vendor master data include the data needed to conduct business with a vendor and to execute the transition related to the purchasing process. The data in the vendor master are grouped into three segments: the general data, accounting data, and purchasing data. The general data include the vendor's name, address, and the communication information such as phone and fax numbers. These data are defined at the client level and are consistent across all company codes and purchasing organizations in the enterprise or client. General data are common to the purchasing and accounting departments and can be maintained by either department. For accounting data, it includes tax-related data, bank data, and payment terms and methods. These data are defined at the company code level. The accounting department will typically complete this segment of the vendor master. And the accounting data must also specify the reconciliation account in the general ledger. And finally, the purchasing data include various terms related to determine prices, creating and communicating purchase orders, verifying invoices, and other steps involved in executing purchases with the vendor. The purchasing department will typically complete this segment. The purchasing data are defined at the purchasing organization level and are applicable only to that organization. If an enterprise has a multiple purchasing organization that deal with the vendor, then it must maintain separate data for each one. For example, the delivery and payment terms may vary for different purchasing organizations. Purchasing info records. Purchasing info record is an intersection or a combination of material and vendor data. So this figure contains the data specific to one vendor and one material master or material group. Purchasing info records include some data that are the vendor master and the material master, as well as the data that are valid for the specific combination of vendor and materials. So the info record typically defines a number of different condition types, including the gross price, discounts, taxes, and freight. It also includes the text data that are used for notes and instruction to company purchase orders, and it keeps track of the last purchase order for the specific material vendor. And finally, the company uses the data for the purchasing info record as default values when it creates a purchase order for a specific combination of material and vendor. And this figure illustrates a purchasing info record for the vendor and the materials of HRT 1000 for purchasing organization in the US OO, and it indicates that the spike takes 4 days to deliver the t-shirt, and the spike charges $15 per shirt, but it offers a discount for 4% for the orders greater than $1,000.